Hello everyone, this is Philip with a quick update on midday here. Today is Thursday, June 26th. We're almost to our third month of this eruption here in Hawaii. Things are changing on a daily basis once again, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick update of what's going on. With some photographs that we have from various sources. So let me kind of get to it. Hopefully my signal will hold today. I'm doing this from home once again. Let's see if that works out for me today. So we actually have a first round of pictures that came through this morning early on, both from Scott Wilson and off of Bruce Omori's boot cam, as well as one from Andrew Hara. So I just want to show you guys the pictures from this morning. This is kind of before the surge. We did recently have our big collapse event at, I believe, 12:11 or so. Hi guys, thanks for joining, thanks for watching. So about 12:11, 12:10, somewhere in there, 12:09 was the collapse event at the summit. After our longest interval that we've seen at over 53 hours. So we were all kind of wondering what would happen as far as that, with that longest interval of 53 hours before this next surge came through. So what looked to have happened based on Bruce's bootcamp image, hi Bruce, and Scott Wilson, we'll show you guys here these first images, is that the flow down by Pohoiki appears to have stalled earlier on overnight. This west edge over here doesn't appear to be moving quite at all. There is still ocean entry going on, but it's a lot weaker, more subdued than before. So lava was still going in the ocean and still kind of leaking down through the system over there, but wasn't really advancing or spreading very much down at Pohoiki as of this morning. So one thing this is from Bruce's boot cam. This one is a photograph from Scott Wilson. Maybe it shows a little different perspective. You can see where the boat ramp is, right in there, Hale, and there's a new little bay right in here from the edge of the lava flow. And you can see it's red and active over here, but not as much over here. Still, this is pretty close activity there, but it's not a huge plume, kind of moving along all through here. Looking at the upslope, you guys can see the upper channel up here, Pu'ukapoho being in an area right over there. This upper channel is still continuous. We have a little crusted over section right in here, and it kind of starts leaking out the bottom right there. But from there down to here, it's pretty discontinuous. So the lava that's flowing is flowing underneath a crust in that area, and probably causing a little bit of spreading, or maybe going through the tube. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot moving through here right when this photograph was taken earlier this morning. And this area up in here is really interesting as well. So we're gonna go, well, so okay, first another view of Pohoiki. You guys can kind of see a different perspective of the boat ramp up through there. Yeah, this one's once again by Scott Wilson, Aloha Skies. So here, back to this image that we got off of a screen grab from Bruce's boot cam. We all love your boost cam, Bruce. Thank you so much. What you can really see is interesting. The channel coming up from Fissure 8, coming through here, is flowing. There's definitely some crust on it up in this area right in here. But it's flowing through, then right in the area of our ponding spillover, where we talked about our shipwreck lava bergs all through here. You guys see all those little dots in there, right? That's them. Appears to have been crusted over. So what actually is happening, or probably happened, is that the flow in here was ponding moving so slow that it started forming a crust, and that allowed like a little tube to form through here. It looks like the flow coming out the bottom, it's pretty fluid right through here, but very quickly it kind of becomes an spreading front right in the area right over here. So it makes me wonder, if all the lava is actually getting through here, or if there was some kind of partial blockage, or what was going on in there. We're going to find out shortly when we get some more photographs that are going to be coming in from Scott Wilson, who is in the air either now or was just up in the air right there. So that's an interesting area by our bend, by Pu'ukapoho. What's going to happen there? The report from those guys overall is that the flow is a lot more sluggish going through the channel, a lot more crust. Lava levels in the channel were a lot lower, and that kind of coincides with our expectation of the lull between the surges, this being our longest interval of over 53 hours or so. So the longer it takes for the surge to come, the more things can crust over, the more they slow down, the more you can have these kind of tubing over areas, and probably more collapses of the walls and of the cone you could expect as well, because the lava that's not filling the channel is also not holding up those walls. So you actually can get more collapses because of that. Hi Mick, glad you could join us. We'll look forward to Mick's video here shortly. We'll show this area that we just have a screen grab of in much greater and beautiful detail. A longhorn, I see the longhorn as well. Interesting, huh? In this perspective. So, back to since Mick has joined us, I'd like to just kind of read a brief account of what he described this morning on his post-light interview. He said, interestingly, the entire flow field is greatly slowed down today. The fissures seem to be putting out about the same amount or maybe a little less, but the channel is very slow, cresting over to a large extent. The area around Pahoa crater is almost all and has a lot less glow. The ocean entry noticeably slower. The flow at Pohoiki appears to not have advanced at all or very little. And he ends by saying he's never seen this in the past 3 months since the eruption began. So I would agree with that for sure. You know, we haven't seen a pause this long since eruption began. We haven't seen this level of this continuity, especially right here at this bend by Pukapoho. So that's really fascinating to see. And you know, here's a kind of different view of that, how that channel is all open and exposed and it just dives under. You can't see it under the crust right through here. It's not really clear what's going on through there. We'll look forward to those higher resolution pictures and videos from Mick. This photograph is from Andrew Hara, who also flew this morning. And just to talk about what's happening at Fissure 8, I just wanted to point out, let me zoom way in here, that what looks like is happening is the levels of fountains in Fissure 8 are a lot lower. So what's happening is the upper level that was bubbling higher kind of made this inner ledge and inside of Fissure 8. And the inner ledge might be the part of what was slumping in there recently as well. So that slumping, we reported on a couple of days ago. We reported on possible kind of cracking on the side of the wall. So we're kind of really curious to see what's going to happen with this surge that's just coming through the system right now over at Fissure 8. Once we get those photographs in from the air, kind of right now. We'll probably see what's happening at Fissure 8 soonest. The effects of the surge down the channel will be delayed by several or many hours, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But what I wanted to point out to you guys is that this little bay over here that was originally part of Fissure 8, you know, which we've been calling Mini 8, this area right through here, the area that during the surges we've seen lava coming out through here, hitting this wall and splashing up and causing this huge eddy that spills and fans out that flows all this direction. Look at how low the lava level is inside of there. So just that kind of shows you like how low the levels are, right? The standing wave, which is still here, is standing a lot lower at a lower elevation, not bubbling up so high as it used to be. So there's obviously still a huge amount of lava coming out. That's a huge amount of lava. You know, if you had a person standing here next to this, so they would look like a little ant. So the amount of lava coming out is still huge and very dangerous. But you know, it's interesting to see that it dropped down to that level. You know, if that's the case, then you can expect a lot more crust to be forming and a lot more of these collapses up the sides, maybe even from Fissure 8 as well. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But that's what's fascinating to see this image from earlier today, showing how low that area actually is with the lava level is quite so low right there. So yeah, let me see what I have for you guys as far as imagery here. Okay, so there's a couple here. I got one image from Andrew Hara taken this morning, which shows a perspective of Pohoiki that we haven't been able to see quite as clearly before. So there is a boat ramp right in there. And I kind of pan across here, you guys can see where the edge of this flow actually got. You see right through there. Let me scroll this over. Right in there. Not quite as sharp as it does on my iPad on the screen here, but you guys can see that. So this is by Andrew Hara, this photograph. So you guys can kind of look at that and look for his post later on when he puts all his imagery up see like a different view of this edge of the flow right there. So yeah, so we have that one, and there's one more image that was taken off of a video Ikaika posted this morning, kind of showing the edge of that boat ramp also, and you can see a little bit here of the road leading out and the parking area and all of that kind of through there. So the good news is this flow appears to not have advanced that much, if at all. If it has, it's something that we can't measure from our photographs coming from the air from that high elevation at 3,000 feet where they're gonna fly, or just offshore. So that's basically what's going on. What was going on there this morning. The fact that the lull lasted so long between the surges is probably a good sign, at least temporarily. It's hard to say, you know, if there's a new breakout, then it could use that wall which has been built up there on that southern edge, either to keep it going away from Pohoiki or towards Pohoiki, right? So it's kind of hard to say now whether that's going to be a good thing or not. But it seems like our hopes for last night that you know, that there wouldn't be a surge that would come and consume it, you know, by morning time at least we have that. With the lull having lasted so long, it seems quite likely that there is going to be a spillover or several spillovers at several points across the channel. I'm not sure if that's going to happen over by the bend, by Pu'ukapoho. We might have, I think I saw someone comment, there might be some spillage happening, some small overflows happening closer to Fissure 8 along the channel. We're all curious to see if a long lull between the surges corresponds, you know, relates in any way to maybe a larger surge. You know, it's been interesting to see that we haven't actually had every surge visible at Fissure 8 from the summit. It seems like maybe every other one is something that we're able to see over there. So that's interesting as well. This one is kind of following that same pattern. So we can talk about that maybe a little later as well. Kind of described to you guys the example yesterday with the water bottle and kind of tapping the water bottle and having the bubbles kind of coalesce and rise to the top. So yeah, that's yeah. Well, let's move on from there. I wanted to show you guys the most recent thermal imagery. So I'm going to go back to July 21st here to show you guys how this actually looked on the 21st. And there's a sequence of two more of these. You guys can focus on the area over here, that flow coming from that bend by Pu'ukapoho or ponding blockage overflow area all through there. And then down all the way to a Halanui area right through here. So that's the first image. Oops, that's the last image. Here's the middle image. Okay, so here's the middle image. You kind of see that by this point, the flow had started to turn a little bit more this way, but there was still a big part of it that was feeding on this west side over here, and that's the one that kind of made that surge towards the boat ramp right there. You can see how white that area looks. That indicates how hot it actually is. So you can see that area of big heat right through there, and all along the ocean entry, all through those little spots right in there. So let me skip to the last one when it was released just now, and you guys can see, maybe I can skip back and forth between those. That west edge of the flow goes a lot colder right there. You guys see that? The bulk of the lava is filling this eastern channel right through here. And while there are some ocean entry spots here and a whole bunch over here, there's a lot more kind of spreading happening on this east and north side of it over here. You guys see that extra white showing the heat of the flow in that area right through here. And right through here where it was splitting off before, there's still some flow in that area, but it's not advancing to the southwest over there, right? So I'm gonna flip back so you guys can see once again the before, right? Here's the flow that was going towards the boat ramp before, and how it developed in the last couple of days up until what we're describing right now. So yeah, so that's basically what we got going on here. I can show you guys the tilt plot as well. Let me pull it up for you here on the iPad. But get the right one. Oh, there it is. Okay, so here we are on the HVO deformation page, looking at their tilt plots. And you guys can kind of see at a glance right here, if we're looking at this past week, we had one of our longer intervals, then our shorter 36-ish hour interval, maybe slightly shorter, but still in that same 36-hour range. And then here is our much longer 53-hour interval right through here, right, before our next event. So kind of looking at the plot, just so we can see what's over the last month, you guys can see that right through here. Clearly, this is one of the longest ones that we've seen. So it seems like even though there is a lot of variation within here, longer ones, shorter ones, longer ones, that the pattern seems to be fairly established now that we have a longer interval between these collapses within the last at least week or so, right? So it takes a long time to kind of establish patterns when a cycle is 2 days long like that, right? But it seems like we're having enough in a row now that I'm getting more confidence to think that it really is a really lengthening pattern and a significant data where it actually can believe in it a little bit. So that's that. There it is. One thing I want to mention as well, you can kind of see from this plot here, we're still having the caldera still dropping down, still collapsing. As far as the horizontal component, we had basically come to it was dropping down. It was collapsing in on itself fairly quickly, and then a little bit less quickly, and then a little bit more quickly, and then a lot less quickly, kind of almost leveling out here. Still dropping down, but a lot more slowly. But here at the end, it seems to be kind of possibly picking up a little bit again, so I'm not sure what that means, if that's going to be a real signal, if it's going to persist or level off again. But clearly there's some more complicated dynamics happening down at the bottom of that collapse pile underneath the summit caldera. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But once again, if you're just joining, the most relevant thing now, besides the fact that Pohoiki has been spared once again, is that we have had our longest low between our longest interval between our surges, and the collapse event occurred a little bit after noon today. So the surge should have hit Fissure 8 already. In fact, depending how long it lasts at Fissure 8, we might be seeing the tail end of it coming through Fissure 8 at some point soonish. That wave has probably worked its way down through the channel system. It's probably spilling over in some areas. We don't know of anything significant right now, but if we hear, we will let you know. We're curious to see how it's going to move through that area of blockage right by the bend at Pu'ukapoho, and whether it's going to spill over there. That seems the most likely place that we have a significant spillover, and just because of the dynamics of that one little area. So we're waiting to see what imagery we get from that. We know that Scott Wilson's in the air, or was in the air not long ago, and we're going to look forward to seeing his imageries. And from there, once it can get past that bend, either through the channel, then we can see if it's going to surge back through towards Pohoiki again, if it'll break out on the side of the flow, and which kind of funnels it towards Pohoiki that way as well. If it breaks out to the north, possibly towards the Cinder Road area. Kind of hope none of those things happen, but that's the status right there. So we're kind of waiting to see the effects of the surge right now. I don't have the pictures right now. I wanted to do a quick live update here in the middle of the day before I run a couple errands and head down to the hub. I'll see some of you guys down there who are around, and I'll do another update from there when I have those more information down there, and also more of that imagery that we're waiting for of how the surge actually goes through. There are reports coming through from the ground. Dane talks about how the surge has actually been pretty large. Some visual reports from the roadblock. So we have that to go on. You guys can keep checking the Hawaii Tracker page to see any more closer to real-time updates. I'll get back on when I can. But for now, I'm going to sign off and get moving down towards the hub there. So thank you guys. Look forward to joining Ikaika later tonight, possibly, depending on what time you can make it back in from Honolulu. And if not, then we'll do it tomorrow. We'll catch up again tomorrow, and we'll keep we'll keep updating you guys as much as we can. Yeah. So I'll check out the webcams you guys are posting, and we'll maybe we can get some time lapses of how that surge actually looks from different cameras that are out and about. Yeah, you guys, you can check the comments. I think I saw John join us earlier, so if you did, you're still with us, John, great to see you. We look forward to having you back. John's been kind enough to keep answering questions on the comments, so I believe he's still doing that when he can. So we're looking forward to having everyone back together and not too long. And for now, I'm just going to sign off with stay classy, Puna. Aloha.